Well, some schools pulling the plug on the president's televised address to school kids on Tuesday. The White House insists the classroom speech is not partisan and it will promote the importance of education and hard work. And here's what America's Education Secretary Arne Duncan had to say just this morning.
It's the kind of things I frankly don't pay any attention to. We have major problems. We have major challenges in this country, Bob. We have more homeless students than we've ever had, and we have teachers and social workers and counselors working so hard to bring them into school and keep them there, and I want to thank them for that effort. We have a dropout rate that's staggering. 30% of our students don't graduate from high school. That's 1.2 million students every single year, ninth graders that don't complete 12th grade. We have to educate our way to a better economy. This is about global competitiveness, so I don't spend any time on the silly stuff. I try and stay laser-like focused on really dramatically improving what's going on for our nation's children.
Well, on the other side, some parents don't think it's silly stuff. They fear the administration could use the opportunity to indoctrinate kids, basically, with ideals that they oppose. Michelle Moore is one such parent. She planned to keep her daughters from school on Tuesday. Now the school has canned that live broadcast, and Todd Gilman is the Washington bureau chief at the Dallas Morning News. Michelle and Tom, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Michelle, let me start with you. From St. Louis, what's your reaction to the news that your school is now not going to show that broadcast? They'll put it on tape and leave it up to teachers from whether or not they want to show it.
Well, I am glad that they have opted to not show the broadcast. I'm not really necessarily opposed to them using portions of the broadcast later on if they feel that it's appropriate to the curriculum, once maybe the entire school board has had the opportunity to look over what's going to be in the broadcast and vet it through normal channels.
What's your fear?
Really, I'm not so much fearful of the broadcast itself as I was that when it was first announced, I couldn't find any information about what was going to be contained within the broadcast. The only information that I could find was concerning the follow-up questions that the children were supposed to do after the broadcast, and a lot of it seemed to be geared towards Obama and what they could do to help their government, what was inspiring to them and things like that, which I just feel is really not appropriate. If what they want to talk about is staying in school, then I think that there were other questions that could be asked. And frankly, when it was first announced, you couldn't even find what the text of the speech was going to be. Now, I think I did hear that he's going to release that tomorrow, and that's fine. But as a parent who has to sign a permission slip for nearly everything that my children have to do, even in high school, having this sprung upon us without any parental involvement, without any school board involvement, was extremely disconcerting.
Todd, what do you think about the accusations that this could be politically motivated? You've been covering this in Dallas.
Well, one of the issues is that as this parent and many hundreds and hundreds of parents who came out in the Dallas area have said, they didn't know exactly what was going to be in the speech. There is a political context to it, which isn't exactly what we've been talking about so far, which is that Obama has had a terrible summer. The health care debate has not been going well. And here the timing is he's going to be simulcasting to every school, or hoping to, every school in the country, a message that probably was going to be an innocuous use of the presidential bully pulpit all along. Stay in school, pay attention, that's the way to get ahead in life.
But it wasn't that originally, and that's the controversy, I think. I mean, President Bush had a similar speech in 1991, but there apparently was a question that the White House had asking kids to write letters to themselves about what they can do to help the president. Now, that can be seen as either helping the president, or that could be seen as helping re-elect Barack Obama.
Right, and that's what angered so many parents and caused alarm in so many school districts. It was clearly bungled by the White House at the outset. They were forced to say the other day that they will release a text of the speech ahead of time to try to quell this, and they have been saying this is just the silly season, but it's not. There are a lot of parents in Texas and around the country who feel that Washington should be hands-off as far as curriculum, and anything that smacks of Washington coming in and messing with local control of the schools, or anything where the president is coming in a way that is not intermediated and speaking directly to children, especially all children simultaneously, it's going to raise some red flags.
All right, and finally, Michelle, thank you. How would you respond to the Secretary of Education, who we just showed, who called your concern silly?
Well, I'm getting kind of tired of being labeled a lot of different things by people who don't know me personally. I think it's hard to say that I'm silly or I'm anything that I've been called recently because of my beliefs when you don't know me personally. I am a concerned parent who cares about what my kids are exposed to, even though they're teenagers, because it's my job to raise them. I am responsible for them, and I want to know what the influences are. If I have to sign a note for my daughter who is 17 to watch a rated R movie in school when she can go to the movies and watch one without me signing a note, then I feel I have the right to know what's actually going to be contained in the president's speech before he gives it.
Yeah, you got to sign a note if you want to let him get out, go to McDonald's for lunch.
Exactly.
Too. Right. Michelle Moore, a concerned parent, and Todd Gilman of the Dallas Morning News. Thank you. 48 hours until the big school speech, and maybe tomorrow we'll find out what the president has to say. Thank you both. Jamie?